InShalla and Ashe. Blessings to you, my energetic beings. Thanks for hopping on today. There I am. Having a few morning glitches, but uh, it's January 10th, and as we elevate to the full moon in Capricorn, we're kind of setting the stage for this upcoming year, 2022. So it's like, what have you been exploring in your day to day energetic system? The cosmic highway, the elemental realm, and just your day to day genius, I guess. Or what sacred space are you creating with your emotional frequency? And be sure to really tune into that barometer as we meet and greet this season's upcoming Cancer full moon. My Musing Moon meditation will be ready and out the gate very soon. If you've yet to subscribe, it's my monthly gift in the village as kind of like a thank you for being part of my collective tribe. And just know that for the next few days, if you have something that throws a monkey wrench in the wheel of your spokes, the path to go on is the one that actually feels peaceful in the flow. So if there is a monkey wrench, just feel into that spoke and kind of explore that little twist. So welcome back to the Daily Snippet. I am your host, a practicing holistic Sha'medium and subtle energetic surgeon. I merge the indigenous technologies with the subtle energies, your auric field. I just call them the energies, but the auric field, the pathways, the centers, etc., the elements, the elemental beings, nature, spirits, and allies, and so much more. But my intention is really to merge the indigenous with the subtle to assist you in navigating your prime directive, introducing you to and through the being that resides within you. My name is Tonya D, and welcome to my virtual medicine room. If you are tuning in today, for those of you that have shared, liked, or commented on any of my stuff, not to fear, I've been actually off grid for the weekend. I've been in ritual since last Thursday. I'm really not sure that I've actually landed as of yet. Doing my own spiritual work, my own offerings and rituals I do every January. I just want to knock that in the door, right? So if you are interested in a card for your day, simply like, comment, and share the show. Helping me really helps you as well. So with that, let's move on over to the cards of the day because I'm doing this a little different. There we go. So the first card, this is from my mystical oracle, the Shaman deck, basically. It's one of my favorites. I kind of have my go-tos. But we have the rainbow, the sorcerer, and the owl today. But with the rainbow is the symbol of really that spiritual path. It's our energetic body centers, the in-body 7 energy centers. And in the Himalayas, the rainbow itself is seen, the rainbow body is seen as the full realization of our essence, our spiritual essence, or what I like to call our acumen, our spiritual acumen, between the physical realm and the spiritual. So kind of at the end of our earth plane journey, our earth life, we kind of journey across these higher heavenly realms. So when this rainbow appears, it's the affirmation that everything is well within the guiding light, that ship, and that we really are on the right relationship with spirit. However, the rainbow is otherworldly today, meaning that it is upside otherworldly, asking us not to get caught up in the pursuit of the illusion of that pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, and just being in the moment, being in the now, and finding that treasure, that essence in the moment. So all of our gifts truly are at hand. All of those energetic centers are beaconing. So obviously, you know, that to be true to our intentions, don't let ourselves wander off our wandering path, if that's a thing, right? Flow like the water. And then I have the sorcerer, being the source of dark power. It kind of represents the destructive force of our human psyche, the things that we do that are more destructive to ourselves, possibly a self-centered behavior, something that harms others. It kind of symbolizes our unconscious beliefs, and along with different ideas that create this idea of separation or conflict or scarcity. So the sorcerer is asking us if we have been feeling out of sorts because we're facing our own character flaws, the pain that we inflict on others when we are really out of alignment. So it's like this radical self-acceptance. That's the shift or the transformation that's called for now. So it's kind of a time to reconcile these darker aspects of our nature, so we don't really behave in a way that's really causing more harm to others or ourselves or anyone around us. And it's kind of a time or a message to come out of denial and truly accepting responsibility for our actions, our words, and just things that we're flowing into. So when we meet the energy of the sorcerer with being more human, humility, this destructive power literally transforms and shifts into grace, which then it serves our highest good, our Sarah, and the other world. So maybe it is time to make amends. And if so, just do it. It's going to set us free from those shadows, allowing us to truly step into the light, the essence of who we are. And then I have the owl, which this is the master of the night, right? The evening sky. So you can really see situations with perfect clarity, more so in the darkness. And we're just able to separate the truth from when other people are sightless. The owl. I actually have an owl. I still hope I have an owl in my backyard. Don't know if that's still occurring. I should take a picture of the backyard before and now, what it looks like. But the owl, in essence, helps us to find our light in the darkest moments of our life, those shadows, and to really embrace the night really as our ally. I actually, driving home yesterday, I love to drive more in the dark because I can see better, kind of like an owl. But the owl also brings us messages from the invisible or the other world, just opening our ears so that we can really hear and tune into the voices of our ancestors, the ancestral realm, and taking in their wisdom and actually making it our own innate wisdom. So the owl is also otherworldly. It's this guardian guarding us against our own self-deception or the self-deception of others. And just it has this essence of pure, transparent in our mode, in our village, like everything that we're doing. So it's like, what is the message that you're hearing? And what's the situation you're not seeing with clarity, with clear eyes? And the owl also is very patient, patiently waiting, kind of to bide our time until it's the right time to act, and to act and kind of committed, kind of, I want to say in the flow with direction. So there's no hesitation, there's not any remorse as well. So bring in the frequency of the owl, even as a totem animal. I think that's important. But the element of the day, so in the realm of the elementals, we have this yin water pig, a Gui Hai, but water hidden in the stems as we contemplate the year's decisions. With the ox, we have the two oxes and the yin metal. I talked about that a couple of days ago, last week, when we transitioned, the month transitioned. But it's like, what are we setting the stage for? What are we cleansing and what are we reconciling to bring into peace? So in a year of Dagara, this is fire. So we're first kind of looking for the flow, the earth plane with the two oxen. That supports those decisions of the realms of heaven, the stems above, and then feeding and supporting our day. And our day ends up with the pig feeding the nature, which really, this is a lot of water. There's a lot of water, which if you are a water person or if you overwater a plant, those roots become soggy. So it's really not good, right? They become rotted. So we don't have the sun or fire to assist in all of this. So I would for sure be asking my ancestors to assist on a day like today. You know, what is the message from the realm of the ancestors? Do you get visions? Do you get dreams? You know, you can ask these questions at night before you go to bed. And actually the owl, being otherworldly, can be your director in the other realm. So later today, we're also going to have what's called a water direction at the hour of the rat. So today really is a pretty emotionally driven day, or a feeling kind of a day. So again, water can nourish or it can deteriorate. Water is a great communicator. It's gentle, it's flowing, it's caring. Sometimes it's susceptible to fear. That's kind of the opposite emotion to that. So they really, as a person, they're not really straightforward because water flows. They prefer soft, gentle, and kind of a indirect way of interaction. But water people are really good at all sides of communication and listening, and also the talking. So that's two sides of that same coin. They're usually they're emotionally sensitive to influence people. They can greatly influence others, water, right? Along with the environment and also our environment. So water people, they unify others with that emotional energy and also understanding. So it's like kindness, and they trust their intuition, utilizing flexibility and perseverance also for success. Being that the direction is north, and we have both the yin and the yang energies of water on the day. It's both adaptable and it's also flexible. Um, so it really is at its peak energy, being that we are in the season of water because we're in winter, at least in my part of the village. And the power of spirit is the power of our will. But since we need fire, fire is the opposing force, right? Fire is warming energy, it clarifies, it can also burn and destroy, but it's comforting, hopefully, and it's illuminating. It illuminates and brings light to all of the situations. It can create expansive kinds of actions. Fire people generally are leaders, they're motivators, they're kind of take charge kind of people. They're highly charismatic, they're very self driven, often more passionate than others. If nothing is going on, they can ignite a spark to create something. They're adventurous, they're always looking for something new. So change really is a theme. It's kind of a predominant energy for fire people, but they oftentimes they leap before they look. So this could either create great success or actually great adversity or problems. And fire people really want to be the center of attention. They create drama unnecessarily when they're out of balance. They're generally great speakers, but they can also be poor listeners. And just being creators, they think and they act really fast. They're kind of brave in aspects. They take on challenges. They're kind of like the warrior like, but also fire can be flamboyant, like, overly fiery, filled with that extra passion and excitement. But they really need to keep their excitement, their passion, and their enthusiasm for life and what they're doing in balance and really create patience, develop that aspect. So, with all of that, adding fire to our water today will bring us both of those, the balance and those possibilities. But the energy of the rat also needs to be loved unconditionally. If there's any rats out there, that's a rat's pig. Sorry, it's that adoration. It's the adoration quality. So just being adored in their frequency, and just being adoration, like being told that they're doing a great job. Otherwise, they do go down the rabbit hole. So it's kind of balancing those two chords. I'm just thinking the opposing kind of ally to the pig is actually the tiger, and we're heading into this tiger year. So you might be feeling that flush coming in too. So our energy is kind of shifting focus today from being in the moment for now, in the now, into manifesting into the future. This is hilarious. I always think you can see my hands and what I'm pointing out, but you can't. Just notice that, just to say. But this is like our long-term picture. This is like this galactic, I don't want to call it an overload, but it's very futuristic. This is like society and humanity with all this water energy. It might really feel a little overwhelming because we have our lower frequencies or our foundation in kind of this sacred circle or this wheel of how we feel with the water. So our waters or our feelings are getting in the flow. They're kind of playing catch up. So we have yang water. Tomorrow we're going to have yin water. So we're going to have a bunch of water again tomorrow, but a different frequency of water, actually. But our feelings are really getting in the flow. They're really going to kind of come up and bubble up like a spring from the base, bubbling from the inside to the outside. And our emotions, what we're emoting, they're going to want our time. They're going to want to be validated. So really sit with those frequencies and those feelings, the frequency of our feelings, and listen, if you can, otherworldly, to kind of what they're telling you. Because they're also, when they get in the flow, we can kind of utilize sacred space, our container, to kind of ascertain each emotion. So if you feel or sense the feeling is heading into kind of a discrepancy or adversity, kind of put that feeling, that essence in a sacred bubble, or you could also release and heal them as well within that sacred bubble. So they kind of flow off into the etheric for some healing. So we really want to tune in with our feelings so they influence our relationship in a healing, positive way, not just to ourselves, but to the container around us. Just by choosing more consciously, those feelings, they begin to be soothed and nurtured. So kind of identify any bubbling feelings that are not flowing or coming to your surface and see where the sacred spaces or places where they are. So with our feelings, they're kind of ultra sensitive with all that water about our personal space and pretty much really anything, the sacred waters. So we might feel if anybody really pokes at that bubble within that sacred space. So it's kind of a great idea to kind of protect and nurture and soothe our personal feelings from the outer triggers around us, and just having futuristic shifts, creative space in our dreams and our visions, the world itself, the global galactic energetic field. And also it's just a great idea to kind of feel through those feelings. Where do we feel vulnerable, and just protecting our heart as we move forward with our feelings, that trinity. So in a way, if we could read what our feelings were communicating, connecting to those feelings, those bubbled emotions, it's how the bubbles actually connect together, kind of like a necklace, a chain necklace, but imagine that they're bubbles. And after we peel back those different bubbles of our feelings and sorting through those bubbles, that's when we can start to feel where our story is headed. So really the best thing to do is to get to the frequency of the feeling of where that story is flowing within those bubbles. I always like to just take a pause and take a breath, a pause for peace, and give past the time and space to my peace and sit with those feelings as well. So super curious there. And then for fun, mullein. This is mullein, which I found was my herb of the day, but it's described by Nicholas Culpeper as being under the guardianship of Saturn, which is part why this herb is kind of considered a guardian of Capricorn. It's our ally. It's an herbal ally during the winter, and I've seen a lot about it, just different things popping up. But like mullein tea helps to clear phlegm from our system, reducing inflammation, protects against inflammation and infection. It's excellent at clearing out chronic or long-standing coughs, dry coughs, spasmodic coughs. It helps just a different variety of respiratory issues, from asthma, weakness in our lungs, bronchitis, etc. It's great for colds and flus. You can blend it with elder or peppermint. And it just opens up our lungs and our immune system. So it's kind of this immune module kind of blend, but it really is useful for Capricorns who really tend towards stagnant cold states, which then lead to swelling and cysts. So this herb kind of assists to dissolve buildups of manifestations of those kinds. But it's also known as an herb, one who is hoarse or has pain in their chest. You can combine this with fennel. It's kind of is this medicinal infusion, kind of an elixir, but it's also great for dry skin. If you have dry skin, you can create compresses with warm water for boils or bruises, joint pain, etc. They've even done mullein with garlic as an ear oil for ear infections, to relieve pain as well. So that's just an idea. I remember kind of doing that years ago with a girlfriend, but it's a great, it's just a great tea. And also what I found curious with the season and the experience that's happening, it's just great to soothe our lungs, and just so, just sipping on it, I think, through the winter season, for protection, really. So this information I get, it was called, today was Warts and Cunning, if you're curious. So really this is for fun. Obviously use common sense as a disclaimer, but I really have seen a lot of great stuff about mullein for the current experience, even for smoker's cough or that lung phlegm thing. So just some insight there. And also with our sacral online, I would really tone into the sacral, the ooh sound, and really just get into the flow of your emotions. Feel into what you are emoting, that energy and motion. The energy of fire or nature is really going to bring balance to the day. Nature itself would also be a great element. I didn't talk about that much, but it's a balancing element as well. So the stable root or food for nature, that is wheat, actually, which is actually hard to find without being modified, but wheat and sour foods or bitter for the fire as well. So that kind of brings our inner and outer balance, that constitution. Colors would be like squashes that are yellow or oranges, etc. So just kind of feel into your sacral and wear orange as a color if you feel called. Dive into spirit and see kind of what floats up. And an affirmation for the day, I would be in a space for peace, take the pause, take that breath, and really be in that neutrality zone, and nurture those emotions that are threading through, bubbling up, and what you're also emoting today. And tune into the realm of spirit, truly our allied conductor, if you will, our higher self, our Sira, and just allow your essence to flow into the arms of your own spiritual acumen, your Sira or your destiny, your prime directive. But I would affirm that I am in tune with my essence, in the flow with my feelings, tuned into the frequency of my spiritual legacy. Again, your spiritual acumen, and just feel into those thread lines. And if you ever feel like you're not, I would literally just have a spirit to spirit conversation to refrequent those frequencies as well. So, InShalla, Ashe, blessings to you, and thanks for tuning in today. I hope that was insightful. And as always, I'll see you on the other side.